Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I do want to speak about Viktor Gyökeres, who is a 26-year-old center forward. And the reason why I don't want to bring this player up is because Barcelona will eventually need to find a replacement for Lewandowski. Currently, Lewandowski has been playing amazing so far. There is no reason for us to be complaining about the player. The player scores goals, he provides assists, he works very hard, but at the end of the day, he is 37 years old. He is for sure not a young striker, and Barcelona will eventually need to move on from Lewandowski. And the time is nearing, and there are going to be options within these next 1 to 2 years, and one of them should be Viktor Gyökeres. What I do want to do in this video is speak about who this player is, why he is so fascinating, and why he is a player that can greatly fit at FC Barcelona. So Viktor Gyökeres does represent Sporting CP and the Sweden national team. His contract with Sporting CP runs from 2023 all the way until 2028, so he recently just signed a 5-year deal. Ever since he signed that 5-year deal with Sporting, he has been freaking amazing, and his release clause currently is set at 65 million euros, and it is subject to change due to his recent performances. If we do look at his transfer history, he moved to Brighton back in 2018, and when he moved to Brighton, he was loaned out 3 total times. He went to St. Pauli, to Swansea, to Coventry, and then eventually Coventry Football Club did buy Gyökeres in the summer of 2021. Gyökeres simply could not make anything happen at Brighton. He spent 2 years at Coventry and eventually once again got bought in the summer of 2023, 2 years later by Sporting CP. And when you look at his senior career so far, you can see that when he was at Brighton, Swansea, Coventry, St. Pauli, his career was just not blossoming. He was not scoring a lot of goals, and he had a tough time trying to break through. Once he did get into the 2021-2022 season, then we started to see what Gyökeres could actually do. He was getting close to his best potential by scoring 18 goals and providing 5 assists in 47 matches. These are very decent numbers. Once we got into his 3rd season at Coventry City, that is when he really started to get into his prime by scoring 22 goals and providing 12 assists in 50 matches. And that is what led towards Sporting CP buying the player in the summer of 2023 for a total of 24 million euros. And now we sit here today with his release clause potentially being more than 65 million euros. There is a chance, my friends, that this player can be price tagged at around 85 to 90 million euros if Sporting CP do want it to be that. If we look at his first season with Sporting CP, he played 50 matches, scored 43 goals, and provided 14 assists, meaning that he was involved in a total of 57 goals within a span of 50 matches. These are prime Lewandowski or prime Kane numbers. And currently this season, he has played 7 matches and has 9 goals and 3 assists. So he is already having a better start to what he did in the first season with Sporting CP. And recently, he just won a Champions League Man of the Match award in a 2-0 win against Lille. In that match, he created the most chances with a total of 4 and was the most fouled player in this game by a total of 3 times. And of course, he did score 1 goal in this match, which was his first Champions League goal. And currently, it has been recorded that he does have 9 goals and 3 assists in 7 matches with Sporting CP, 12 goals, 5 assists in 9 matches for both club and country. So far, the Sweden striker has provided a goal contribution in every game this season. Also, it has been recorded by the transfer market that Viktor Gyökeres has scored more goals than Kylian Mbappe and Erling Haaland in the last 12 months. As you can see here in the rankings, he has 52 goals while Mbappe and Erling Haaland do fall short by a total of 4 to 5 goals to Gyökeres. The only player that is higher than Gyökeres, it is Harry Kane, and that is because, if you look at Kane and what he has been doing with Bayern Munich, of course, his numbers were going to be superior. So Gyökeres has been breaking his own records. The only big concern that I would say would be the fact that could he do this in the Premier League or in La Liga or in the Bundesliga or in Serie A, because currently he does play in the Portuguese league. Yes, it's a great league, phenomenal league. I have nothing bad to say about the Portuguese league, but it is not at the level of the top 4, and that has been one of the people's biggest concern. Could he translate this level to a bigger league? And let me tell you, this whole hype about the player really does remind me of Vlahovic when he was playing at Fiorentina. They also do have the same height, which is 6'3". They have the exact same goal threat. The style of play is very similar, and we were talking about Vlahovic in the exact same way we are currently talking about Gyökeres. I remember when Vlahovic was about to leave Fiorentina, and at that time, us as Barcelona fans were like, we need to get this striker because it can help Ronald Koeman's project. Maybe he can be the alternative to Memphis Depay. He is the striker that we do need and could be our next Luis Suarez, right? That was the conversations that we were having at that time, but then he eventually chose Juventus, and as of now, we can all say that he has been decent. Not bad, not good, but just decent. But based off his trajectory and how we were we're talking about the player, he was supposed to be a player today that can score more than 35 goals per season. So he has been decent, but not world class. And Barcelona cannot have a decent striker. They gotta have strikers that are world class. And keep in mind, Vlahovic was a player that was already playing in his own league, right? When he moved to Juventus from Fiorentina, those two clubs were in the exact same league. So he should have done way better when he moved to Juventus because of the quality of players that were surrounding him. So noting that, right, can you imagine what could happen? I'm not saying will, but could happen to Gyökeres when he moves from the Portuguese league to the Spanish league. It's going to be a huge difference in terms of competitiveness. I do think that in terms of style and how the Portuguese league approaches football and how the Spanish league approaches football, it's the exact same thing. You need technique, you need to learn how to defend, you need to learn how to go through low blocks, very similar style of plays, but La Liga just does it better. That is what makes La Liga so difficult. So could Gyökeres provide the level in a different league? That is going to be the biggest question. What club is willing to make that type of gamble? I'm excited to see his overall progression as a player because at the age of 27 years old, he's at the prime of his career. And if he wants to make it big in football, he needs to make it now because he's not 22, he's not 21, he's 27. And I'm sure that he even knows his own age, that he probably does have 5 to 6 good years left. And I'm sure that he's going to want to spend that at a bigger league with a bigger team. So a move from him is very imminent. I would even argue that he does not have time to adjust to a different league. Like he cannot be a player that goes to, let's say, La Liga or the Premier League and he needs about 1 to 2 seasons to get used to the higher level of football. He cannot allow that because of his age. He does need to make things click as fast as possible. And I hope that he does because I see phenomenal talent here. Now, when we compare Gyökeres to Erling Haaland and Harry Kane, two top strikers that has been playing amazing this season, even though we only have a small sample of data so far because we have only played about 5 to 6 games, this is what it looks like when you compare these three strikers together. You can see that Gyökeres is superior to Erling Haaland and Kane when it comes to passes received, attacking actions, and expected assists. In terms of aerial percentage or passes to the box, he's really not that strong because he does not get called in to make passes into the box. He's a pure 9, somebody who just makes a lot of attacking actions, receives a lot of the passes from the wingers or from the midfielders, and his only duty is to score goals. That is why you see Erling Haaland and Harry Kane just overpower Gyökeres in passes to the box and aerial percentage. But you can also see that Gyökeres has a very high expected goal rate right next to Harry Kane and Erling Haaland. It's very impressive. And then when we compare Gyökeres to Lewandowski, they're very much similar. There's really not much of a difference, and that's very exciting. So Gyökeres is a player that is right-footed, but he can finish with both feet. He mainly does score with his right foot, but he can get the job done with his left foot. He's a versatile forward, somebody who can operate as a target man or run behind defenders because he does have the pace. He has a very strong ball striking ability, finishes with quality from various areas. He does use his pace and acceleration to exploit a lot of spaces that just surround him, especially from the outside central defenders. He does make curved runs too, running from the central areas and into the wide areas, and he usually does make the fullbacks go out of position. He also likes to deceive defenders with small movements, dropping into pocket of spaces to receive and finish. And in terms of chance creation, well, he does rank in 10th for assist. He did rank in 10th for assist back in the 2023-2024 season with a total of 6 assists. And when he is positioned wide, he does scan for teammates and delivers very accurate cutbacks or square passes. And then of course you do have his physicality where he does stand at 6'3" or 6'2", and because of his height he is able to bring others into play because he is capable of receiving under pressure and backing into defenders and protecting the ball, very much like Lukaku, because Lukaku is a very strong type of player and nobody can outshrug him. So I would say that for now, in terms of how well he does slot with FC Barcelona, he's an 8.5 out of 10. Barcelona is a team that is very vertical, always likes to attack, likes to pass through the middle, as you can see here in the picture, coming from Y-Scout, and thanks to the coach's voice for providing this image, you can see that Gyökeres knows how to defend against a center back by covering him before receiving the ball and connecting with one of the midfielders, something that he can do greatly with a player like Pedri or maybe even Dani Olmo. So once we do head towards the summer of 2025, the main question is going to be this: is Gyökeres going to be the best purchase that Barcelona could make based off what is going to be open by that time? Because let me tell you, he is going to be ranging around 65 million euros to 85 million euros. A lot of people do like to say 100 million euros. Like, yes, of course, Sporting CP can say that, but I do think that not a lot of clubs are going to be bidding that high, and eventually Sporting CP have to go with whatever the clubs are bidding for. They cannot force a certain amount. It is going to be around 65 to 85 million euros at the very most. And if Barcelona were to spend this amount of money for a player like him, would it be worth it? And I want you guys to really answer that question in the comment sections down below. Do you believe a player like him would really be worth it? I mean, like, just think about it, right? If he does have another 50+ goal contribution season for the second time in a row, should Barcelona say yes? Because if Barcelona were to say yes yes to the player and they say, okay, he is going to be a player that we want to bring in. He is going to be the only big player Barcelona will sign that summer. I do see it as very impossible for Barcelona to sign this player for around, let's say, 75 million euros and then say we want to go for either Musiala, Erling Haaland, or Florian Wirtz. I just don't see that happening. It's not going to happen. It would most likely look like getting a bunch of free transfers in plus Gyökeres. So would that be a summer transfer window that Joan Laporta and the rest of the fans would like? Let's see. Let's see how we do feel by the end of this season. Now, whether he is a priority or not, I do think that in the end, he will be on the list in terms of reinforcements. I do think that by the time we do get into that summer, Barcelona know that their attack needs to be reinforced, and Joan Laporta is going to know that they need an upgrade. So their list of strikers and who they want to sign in the attack is going to be very strong. I do think that our list is going to look something like this. Number one, top priority is going to be Musiala. If Musiala says, no, fuck FC Barcelona, I just want to stay at Bayern and I am very much committed to Bayern Munich, then okay, we cannot go with Musiala. Number two, our priority is going to be Erling Haaland. Now he could say, I want to stay at Manchester City because Pep Guardiola just renewed and I'm happy, I don't want to go anywhere. Then okay, fine, we cannot get Erling Haaland, because all of this is very much possible. These players could just say, I want to continue at my current club. So if we cannot get Erling Haaland, then our third priority should be Florian Wirtz. But then, Florian Wirtz can also say, you know what, I want to build with Musiala, my teammate from the German national team, and I do want to start a brand new era at Bayern Munich. I do not want to go to FC Barcelona. I'm not interested. And so if we cannot get Musiala, if we cannot get Erling Haaland, if we cannot get Florian Wirtz, then I believe our fourth priority in the list would be Gyökeres. If none of our other options or alternatives could work and we cannot simply complete the deal. So let me know in the comment sections down below. What do you think about the player? Do you see him as a top priority, or do you see him as one of the priorities for our attack next season? Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.